Let me tell you a truth that feels sharp at first, but it can save your future. Talking about your plan too early can make your dream feel bigger, but your progress often gets smaller. You think you are building hope when you explain everything to everyone, but sometimes you are only feeding your own excitement, and excitement is not the same as growth. The real problem is not that people are always cruel. The real problem is that a new plan is still soft. It can bend, it can break, it can lose its shape in one careless conversation. One smile can lift it, one question can shake it, one opinion can pull it apart before it has roots. In this story, you will hear how a young woman learned to guard her dream, not by hiding from life, but by learning the difference between noise and support. By the end, you will know how to protect your own plan with calm hands and a steady heart. Stay with me. This is not about secrecy for its own sake. It is about wisdom. It is about learning when to speak, when to wait, and when to work quietly until your future is strong enough to stand in the light. I am going to share this like a story, because stories enter the heart more gently than rules. We will walk beside a young woman who thought every dream should be spoken aloud. Then we will watch her learn something deeper. She will not become cold. She will not become hard. She will become clear. In the chapters ahead, you will see the seed, the circle, the soft answer, the quiet proof, and the final system that keeps a plan safe while it grows. Each part will sound simple. That is on purpose. Strong things are often simple at first. And if you care about moving with wisdom, not noise, then listen closely. Subscribe to our channel right now, because we bring you the kind of English stories that teach by feeling, not by force. We want every story to leave you calmer, stronger, and more fluent. Now let us open the door and begin. Her name was Maya. She lived in a small apartment above a bakery, where warm bread smell rose through the floor every morning. In the early light, when the city was still half asleep, she sat by the window and wrote in a notebook with a blue cover. On the first page she had drawn a tiny candle with a flame above it. Maya had a dream to open a small candle shop. Not a loud shop, not a flashy shop, just a soft place with glass jars, pale light, and handmade candles that smelled like rain, mint, and honey. She wanted the room to feel like a quiet breath. She wanted people to walk in and remember that peace is real. One night, with her notebook open and a small lamp glowing beside her, she told 3 friends about the plan. Their eyes widened. One smiled. One laughed. One said, "That sounds lovely." Maya felt a wave of joy. She felt seen. She felt brave. For a moment, her dream looked bright and complete. Then, almost at once, the questions began. Where will you get money? What if it fails? Why candles? Why not something safer? Why not wait until next year? Maya tried to answer every question. By the end of the week, she was talking more than working. The dream that once felt like a lantern in her hands now felt like a heavy basket hanging from her arm. On a rainy afternoon, Maya walked through an old market street where the stones shone dark and wet. At the end of the lane was a small shop run by Mrs. Imani, an older woman with silver hair and soft, careful eyes. The shop smelled of tea leaves, paper, and dried orange peel. Maya went in just to escape the rain, but she left with more than dry shoes. Mrs. Imani listened to Maya without interrupting. When Maya finished talking, the older woman placed a seed in her palm. It was tiny, almost nothing. "A seed does not ask the whole garden for permission," she said. "It stays under the earth first. It grows in private. That is how it becomes strong." Maya looked at the seed and felt something inside her settle. Mrs. Imani told her that a plan has a soft season. In that season, too many voices can flatten it, too many smiles can make it lazy, too many fears can make it tired. "Keep the seed warm," she said. "Keep it hidden enough to grow." Maya understood that she had been treating a seed like a finished tree. That evening, Maya made her first quiet rule. She would tell no one new about the candle shop for 30 days. In that month, she would do only 3 things: write the first plan, test 1 candle recipe, and save 1 small amount of money. No speeches, no big announcements, just roots. The room felt smaller than before, but the dream inside it felt stronger. The second rule was simple, but it changed everything. Maya chose 1 trusted person, her cousin Lena, who had a calm voice and a steady heart. Lena did not rush her. She did not throw 10 ideas into the air. She only asked 1 kind question at a time. "What is the next small step?" she would say, and that question gave Maya a path. This was the kind of support Maya needed, not loud praise, not eager questions, just 1 witness who could hold the dream without shaking it. Every time Maya wanted to tell the whole world, she wrote the thought in her notebook instead. Every time she felt nervous, she showed Lena 1 small piece of work and then returned to the table. Together they tested wax in tiny cups. They stirred lavender, then rose, then a little vanilla. Some smells were too strong, some were too weak, some became beautiful only after rest. Maya learned that good work is often quiet work. It is slow, repetitive, and honest. It does not ask to be admired while it is still forming. Slowly, the candle shop stopped being a sentence and started becoming a shape. Maya made scent samples. She studied jars. She counted costs. She learned how much wax 1 box could hold. She drew a logo with soft letters. The dream was no longer floating in the air. It was beginning to stand on its own feet. Before we go deeper, let me pause for a moment. If these ideas are helping you, take a second to like this video and drop a comment telling me which exercise you would try first. Your words help this channel grow, and your feedback helps me make better stories for you. Now, let us keep going. The next problem did not come from strangers. It came from kindness. People kept asking Maya, "How is the candle shop dream going?" Some asked because they cared. Some asked because they were curious. Some asked because they wanted a story to talk about. Maya did not need to distrust everyone. She only needed a better answer. Mrs. Imadi taught her a sentence. "I am building something small and private for now. I will share it when it is ready." That was all. No long explanation, no defense, no apology. Maya practiced the line until it felt natural in her mouth. She learned that silence is not rude when it protects a dream. At first, this felt strange. She worried people would think she was cold, but something beautiful happened. The questions got shorter. The pressure got lighter. The dream stayed warm inside her, but the air around it became quieter. Maya had found a gate that opened only as far as she wanted. This was the moment she stopped performing her future. She no longer needed every conversation to become a stage. She could smile, answer lightly, and return to work. That small change gave her hours back. It also gave her peace back. And peace in the beginning is worth more than praise. Maya used to believe that telling people was part of making progress. Now she learned the opposite. Real progress leaves marks. It leaves wax on the table. It leaves notes in the margins. It leaves tired hands and one small finished thing after another. Quiet evidence is stronger than loud intention. So she made a new habit. Before she spoke about any dream, she asked herself, "What proof do I have today?" If the answer was nothing, she went back to work. If the answer was one candle, one label, one test jar, or one saved coin, she stayed quiet and kept building. She was no longer posting a future, she was preparing one. She also started to understand timing. A dream is not a race to announcement. It is a path of careful steps. First the idea, then the test, then the correction, then the second test. Maya poured wax, burned samples, changed wicks, and studied how each candle melted. The small failures were not shameful, they were teachers. This is where many plans die. They are announced before they are formed. They are shown before they are useful. Maya began to understand that the world is full of bright applause, but applause cannot hold a hammer, cut a label, or pour melted wax into a mold. Work can do that. Quiet work can do that. There was still one more enemy to face. It was not doubt, it was energy leak. Every conversation that had no purpose pulled a little strength away from Maya's hands. Every extra explanation took time from her table. Every opinion she did not need sat on her shoulder like a small stone. So Maya created 3 locks. First, she protected her time. She worked in one clear window each evening and did not let the hour break apart. Second, she protected her attention. She stopped checking every message the moment it arrived. Third, she protected her mouth. She learned to answer with fewer words and more calm. She also became kinder to herself. Some days the work moved slowly. Some days the wax cracked. Some days her mind felt full of noise. On those days she did not punish herself. She took a breath, drank water, and returned to one simple task. A protected plan is not a perfect plan. It is a plan that can survive a hard day. The change was not only practical, it was emotional. Maya stopped feeling chased by other people's thoughts. She stopped living inside their reactions. Her body became quieter. Her mind became clearer. And when your mind is clear, even a small plan can shine like a lantern in a dark room. By now, Maya had learned enough to build a simple system she could remember every day. She called it the 4P formula: private, precise, protected, proven. The 4 words felt like 4 stones under a bridge. Together they could carry her across the water. Private meant this: do not tell the world before the work has a shape. Precise meant this: speak only about the next step, not every dream in your head. Protected meant this: choose who may enter the circle and let that circle stay small. Proven meant this: let results speak when the time is right. Maya wrote the 4 words on the first page of her notebook.
Under them she wrote one line, "A plan grows in peace." She read it every morning before work. The sentence did not make her louder, it made her steadier. And steadiness is what a dream needs when the world gets noisy. She also learned how to use the formula in real life. If someone asked too many questions, she stayed private. If she needed help, she stayed precise. If fear tried to enter, she stayed protected. If the candle shop started to show real life, she stayed proven. The formula was simple enough to remember and strong enough to use.
Each night before sleep, Maya followed a tiny routine. She looked at what she had done. She chose one thing to improve. She wrote the next step. Then she closed the notebook. No endless dreaming, no spinning in circles, just a quiet garden, watered one cup at a time. Weeks passed, then months. The candle shop was still small, but now it was real. Her first shelf held 6 candles. Her second shelf held 10. A neighbor bought one, then another. Lena helped her with labels. Mrs. Imani showed her how to place a candle so it looked calm even in daylight. Maya had not rushed the dream, she had raised it. One evening she opened the little shop door and watched the first customer pause at the window. The light from inside touched the glass jars and made them glow softly. Maya felt a deep, gentle joy, not the wild joy of applause, but the quiet joy of something that had truly grown. And this is the hidden gift of silence. It does not block joy, it protects it until joy can stand on its own. Maya understood that now. Her dream was no longer fragile. It had roots, shape, and breath. You have now finished a full journey through the quiet way of building a dream. You did not only hear a story about candles, you learned how noise can weaken a new plan and how calm can help it grow. You learned that privacy is not fear when it is used with wisdom. Maya did not become a secretive person, she became a strong one. She learned that a dream is first a seed, then a root, then a stem, and only later a flower. If she had shown the seed to everyone, many would have called it too small. But the garden did not need their judgment, it needed time. If this story helped you even a little, subscribe to our channel right now. We are building a space where English learning feels warm, deep, and alive. Save this video, come back to it often, and use each chapter like a candle you can light again whenever your own plan feels shaky. Remember this, success does not come from telling everyone, it comes from building until your results can speak for themselves. Protect the seed, guard the work, trust the silence. Build in peace, grow with patience, move with purpose. And most of all, keep your dream safe until it is strong enough to bloom. Thank you for watching. Let's grow together. The candle shop opened with no grand celebration. There were no fireworks, no crowd, no loud announcement on a stage. Maya unlocked the door on a quiet morning, placed 2 candles in the window, and waited. The street was still. The air was soft. She remembered how eager she used to be to tell everyone every detail. Now she understood that some beginnings need space more than applause. Mrs. Imani visited later that week and stood at the doorway with her hands folded behind her back. She looked at the shelves, then at Maya, and smiled in the smallest way. "Now the work speaks," she said. Maya felt her throat tighten. She had wanted so badly to be believed before she was ready. But belief, she learned, is sweeter when it comes after proof.
Lena brought tea and stayed for only a little while. She did not turn the afternoon into a party. She simply sat beside Maya, helped straighten the labels, and said, "You kept going." Those 3 words mattered more than any speech. They were honest, they were calm, they were enough. Maya placed one hand on the counter and felt the quiet strength of her own effort. That evening, when the light turned gold in the window glass, Maya wrote another line in her notebook. A dream is safest when it is still becoming. She read it twice, then she closed the notebook. She did not need more words. Her hands were already speaking through what they had built. Her life had become proof that patience can carry a dream farther than noise ever could. If you are carrying a plan in your heart right now, remember Maya. Not every seed should be shown to every hand. Not every beginning should be explained to every voice. Some plans grow best in silence first. Some hopes become stronger when they are protected. And some of the most beautiful things in life arrive only after a season of quiet work. So take your next step quietly. Build it carefully. Let your results arrive before your explanations do.
Welcome, everyone. Let me tell you about a tool that you almost certainly already have on your phone. A tool that is free, that is available 24 hours a day, that never gets tired, never judges you, never makes you feel embarrassed for making a mistake. A tool that most English learners are using to translate sentences when they could be using it to become fluent. That tool is ChatGPT, and here is what almost no one is telling you. ChatGPT is not a translation machine. It is a conversation partner, a language coach, a speaking trainer, a writing corrector, and a pronunciation guide, all in one place, all available right now, all completely free. The problem is not access. You have access. The problem is that no one has ever shown you the exact prompts, the exact methods, the exact daily routine that turns ChatGPT into a fluency machine. Most learners open it, ask it to translate a sentence, and close it. What you are about to learn is completely different. In the next 30 minutes, I will give you 8 specific, tested, immediately usable methods for using ChatGPT to build real spoken English fluency, starting today. Please stay until the very end, because the final chapter is the one that connects everything together into a single daily system you can use every morning in 10 minutes.
What I am about to share is not a list of vague tips. It is not just talk to ChatGPT in English every day. That advice without the right structure produces very little. What I will give you are specific prompt formulas, exact instructions you type into ChatGPT that unlock specific fluency-building activities. Each method targets a different layer of spoken English: vocabulary, sentence structure, pronunciation awareness, conversational rhythm, error correction, and confidence. By the end of this story, you will have a complete toolkit of ChatGPT prompts and a ready-to-use daily routine that fits into 15 minutes each morning. And if you care about finally having a real conversation partner that is available anytime, anywhere, that pushes your English without pressure and corrects you without shame, subscribe to our channel right now, because we bring you the most practical, most forward-thinking English learning stories in the world.
Now open ChatGPT, because you are about to use it very differently.
Chapter 1. Why most learners waste ChatGPT. Meet two learners. Both have ChatGPT on their phones. Both use it regularly. The first is Amara. Amara opens ChatGPT when she needs to write an email and is not sure of the grammar. She types her message, ChatGPT corrects it, she copies it. She uses it maybe 3 times a week and closes it. After 6 months, her written English is a little better. Her spoken English is exactly the same. The second is Riku. Riku opens ChatGPT every morning for 15 minutes. He asks it to play the role of a hotel receptionist. He practices checking in, asking questions, handling problems. Then he asks ChatGPT to correct every grammar mistake he made. Then he asks it to teach him 3 new phrases from the conversation. Then he reads those phrases aloud, 3 times each. After 6 months, Riku speaks with a confidence that surprises people who knew him before. Same tool, completely different results. The difference is not motivation or intelligence. The difference is prompting strategy. ChatGPT does not know how to teach you English by default. It knows how to respond to what you ask. And if you ask it shallow questions, it produces shallow help. If you ask it deep, structured, strategic questions, it becomes one of the most powerful language tutors available. You are not bad at using technology. You simply were never shown how to use this one correctly. Every chapter from here gives you exactly that. Let us begin.
Chapter 2. The Role-Play Conversation Method. The single greatest fear most English learners have is real conversation, the pressure, the speed, the fear of silence, the worry that your mistake will make someone impatient. ChatGPT removes every one of those fears because it has infinite patience. It never gets bored, it never sighs, it never looks at its watch while you find the right word. And you can make it become any conversation partner you need. Here is the role-play prompt formula. Type this into ChatGPT. Please act as a specific person or role. We are in a specific situation. Speak to me only in natural English. Keep your sentences short and clear. After each of my responses, gently correct any mistakes I made and continue the conversation. For example, please act as a job interviewer at a technology company. I am applying for a project manager position. Speak to me only in natural English. Keep your sentences short and clear. After each of my responses, gently correct any mistakes I made and continue the conversation. That is it. ChatGPT will immediately step into the role, and you will be speaking English in a realistic, pressure-free simulation of exactly the situation you need to prepare for. Practice a job interview, a dinner conversation, a travel situation, asking for directions, negotiating a price, presenting an idea to a team. Any real-life speaking situation, you can simulate it, repeat it, improve it as many times as you need until it feels natural. This is the most direct path to real conversational confidence that exists outside of an actual conversation. And often it builds more confidence than the real conversation does because you arrive at the real one already prepared. Chapter 3. The Error Mirror Technique. Most English learners make the same mistakes for years without ever correcting them. Not because they do not want to, but because no one is watching closely enough to catch the specific patterns. A language teacher in a class of 20 students cannot give you personalized error analysis. There is simply no time. ChatGPT can, and it will do it instantly, specifically, and endlessly. Here is the error mirror prompt.
After any writing or speaking exercise, type your text into ChatGPT and use this prompt. Please analyze my English in the text below. List every grammar mistake I made. For each mistake, show me what I wrote, show me the correct version, and explain in one simple sentence why it is wrong. Then, tell me what my 3 most common error types are. Here is my text. Paste your text here. This prompt does 4 things at once. It identifies your specific mistakes. It corrects them clearly. It explains the grammar rule in simple language, and, most powerfully, it identifies your patterns. Because fluency is not built by avoiding mistakes. It is built by understanding them, correcting them, and eventually making them so rarely that your English sounds natural without effort. Use this technique once a day with any paragraph you write. After 2 weeks, you will notice your recurring errors before ChatGPT even points them out. That awareness, that self-correction in real time, is one of the clearest signs that fluency is growing. These first 3 methods alone could transform your English practice, starting from today. Before we continue, please take 1 second to like this video and drop a comment below. Which method are you most excited to try first? The role-play conversation? The error mirror? Or are you waiting to see what comes next? Your comment helps me understand what is reaching people most, and it helps this story find the English learners who need it. Now, the next chapters go deeper. We move from fixing mistakes to building vocabulary, training pronunciation awareness, and thinking in English, all through specific ChatGPT prompts you will use daily. Chapter 4. The Vocabulary Expansion Prompt. Most learners learn vocabulary from lists: a word, a definition, a translation. Repeat until memorized. And then, in a real conversation, the word disappears. Because memorizing a definition is not the same as knowing how a word lives in real English. Native speakers do not think in definitions. They think in collocations, the words that naturally travel together. They think in context, the situations where a word fits and the situations where it does not. They think in tone, formal or informal, warm or cold, strong or gentle. Here is the vocabulary expansion prompt. I want to learn how to use the word blank naturally in English. Please show me 3 natural example sentences, informal, neutral, and formal, 3 words or phrases that commonly go with it, collocations, 1 common mistake non-native speakers make with this word, and 1 similar word, and explain the difference between them. This single prompt turns 1 vocabulary word into a complete, deep language lesson. For example, use it with the word concern. You will learn I have a concern versus I am concerned versus concerning. You will learn that concern collocates with raise, express, and address. You will learn it is not the same as worry, which is more personal and emotional. 3 words a day learned this way is more powerful than 30 words on a flashcard, because these 3 words become yours. You can use them, not just recognize them. Chapter 5. The Shadow Script Method. There is a technique used by actors to prepare for real, spontaneous-seeming performances. They prepare scripts for the kinds of conversations they expect. They practice the words so many times that when the moment comes, the words feel natural. Not memorized, internalized. You can do the same for real-life English situations. Here is the shadow script prompt. I have an upcoming situation in English. For example, a work presentation, a phone call, a social dinner, a job interview, a complaint to a manager. Please write me a natural, fluent script from my side of this conversation. Use natural spoken English, not too formal, not too casual. Include some hesitation phrases and filler expressions that a real English speaker would use. After the script, list 10 key phrases I should memorize from it. ChatGPT will produce a complete, natural, spoken English script tailored exactly to your situation. Your task is read it aloud 3 times. Then put it away and tell the story in your own words, using as many of the phrases as you can remember. This is not memorization for its own sake. It is the absorption of natural English patterns, the rhythms, the phrases, the connectors, into your speaking brain. The next time that situation arrives in real life, you will not be searching for words from scratch. You will be reaching for language you already own.
Chapter 6. The Think in English Drill. The single most reliable sign of true English fluency is this: you stop translating. You stop forming the thought in your first language and then converting it to English. The thought arrives in English directly. This is what separates a B2 learner from a truly fluent speaker. Not grammar, not vocabulary size. The language of thought. And you can train it deliberately with ChatGPT. Here is the Think in English drill prompt. Give me a random everyday topic, something simple, like morning routines, coffee, city noise, waiting in line. I will speak about this topic for 60 seconds without stopping. I will type what I said. You will then correct my English and show me more natural ways to say things. Then give me another topic. The key instruction in this prompt is without stopping. The stopping, the pause to translate, is the habit you are breaking. When you force yourself to keep talking, your brain is forced to find English words directly, without the translation bridge. It is uncomfortable at first. The sentences may be imperfect. That is exactly the point. You are training your brain to think in a new language, and that training only happens when you remove the safety net of translation. 5 topics per day, 5 60-second bursts. After 30 days, notice what has changed. The gap between thought and speech will have closed, noticeably, measurably, permanently. Chapter 7. The Speak Formula. Now, let us put every method together into one complete daily routine that uses ChatGPT as your personal English coach. 15 minutes every morning, using 5 specific prompts in sequence. I call it the Speak Formula. S. Simulate a conversation. Open ChatGPT. Use the role-play prompt. Choose a real situation you want to prepare for, or simply a casual conversation topic. Speak for 5 minutes. Type your responses. Let ChatGPT correct you as you go. This is your daily speaking warm-up. P. Pick 3 words. After your conversation, look at the corrections ChatGPT gave you, or choose 3 words you used but were uncertain about. Use the vocabulary expansion prompt for each one. 3 words, deep understanding, said aloud 3 times each. E. Expand with a script. 2 or 3 times a week, use the shadow script method. Pick an upcoming real-life situation in English. Get the script. Read it aloud twice. Tell it back in your own words. A.
Analyze your errors. At the end of your session, paste everything you typed into the error mirror prompt. Read the corrections carefully. Notice the patterns. Write one corrected sentence in your notebook, just one, daily, in your own handwriting. K. Keep thinking in English. Use the Think in English drill for 2 topics, 2 60-second bursts. No stopping, no translating, just English. Simulate. Pick. Expand. Analyze. Keep thinking. S, P, E, A, K. Speak. 15 minutes every morning with the most patient, most available, most personalized English teacher you have ever had. One that fits in your pocket and costs nothing.
Chapter 8. The Identity of a ChatGPT English Speaker. Let me tell you about a learner named Celine. Celine had been studying English for 7 years. She had taken classes, used apps, watched English films. Her reading and listening were excellent. Her speaking, still hesitant, still slow, still uncertain. When she first started using ChatGPT for speaking practice, she found something unexpected. Not the grammar corrections, those were useful. Not the vocabulary, that was helpful. What she found was that she had stopped being afraid. Because when there is no one watching, no native speaker to impress, no classmate to compare yourself to, no teacher to disappoint, the fear of speaking begins to dissolve. She practiced her job interview with ChatGPT 7 times. On the 8th, the real one, she said, "It felt like I had already done this before." She got the job. But here is what I want you to understand. ChatGPT did not make her fluent. She made herself fluent by showing up every morning and doing the uncomfortable work of speaking in a language that did not yet feel like home. ChatGPT was the safe room where she built the courage to walk into the real world and use it. The tool works, but only if the person behind it decides daily, without waiting for confidence to arrive first, that they are already an English speaker. A speaker who practices, a speaker who corrects, a speaker who shows up, even to an AI, and speaks. That is who you are starting today, and ChatGPT is waiting for you.
You have just received one of the most complete, most immediately actionable ChatGPT English fluency systems ever created for learners around the world. You didn't just hear some general advice about AI. You learned exactly why most learners waste ChatGPT and how to use it like a professional language coach instead. You learned the role-play conversation method that turns ChatGPT into any partner you need. The error mirror that makes your mistakes your fastest teacher. The vocabulary expansion prompt that teaches words the way natives use them. The shadow script method that prepares you for real situations before they arrive. The Think in English drill that breaks the translation habit permanently. And the Speak formula, your complete 15-minute daily routine that builds real, usable, confident English fluency, one morning at a time. You are not a learner waiting for a classroom. You are not someone who needs to find a conversation partner before you can practice speaking. You are an English speaker with the most patient, most available, most personalized language coach in history already on your phone, waiting for you to ask the right questions. If this story helped you even 1%, please subscribe to our channel right now. We are building a community of English learners who do not wait for perfect conditions. They use the tools available right now to build the fluency they deserve. Save this video. Return to it whenever you need to remember how to use ChatGPT well. Use each chapter like a prompt in your toolkit. Reach for the one you need, open ChatGPT, and begin. Remember, fluency does not come from perfect tools. It comes from imperfect people who show up every day and speak anyway. Open ChatGPT. Start a conversation. Make a mistake. Correct it. Learn from it. Try again tomorrow. Speak before you are ready. Practice before it feels natural. Show up before confidence arrives. And most of all, remember that the English speaker you want to be is already inside you. They just need somewhere safe to practice. ChatGPT is that place. Starting now. Thank you for listening. Let's grow together. Welcome, everyone. Think about the one thing you wanted most, the thing you prayed for, the thing you planned for, the thing you were so certain was meant for you. The job, the relationship, the opportunity, the door you stood in front of for months, maybe years, certain that it would open. And then it did not. It closed, quietly or loudly or painfully, and you were left standing there, asking the question that all of us have asked at least once in our lives: why? Most people answer that question with blame. They blame themselves, they blame others, they blame the world for being unjust, or they blame God for being absent. But here is the truth that very few people discover before a great deal of time has passed. The closed door was not a punishment, it was protection. The plan that fell apart was not a failure, it was a redirection. And the thing you did not receive was often making space for something far beyond what you were capable of imagining at the time you wanted it. This story is not about passive waiting. It is not about giving up on your dreams and calling it faith. It is about something far more powerful. Learning to move through loss, through disappointment, through the silence of unanswered prayers, with trust, with purpose, and with open hands. Please stay until the very end, because the final chapter carries the deepest truth of all. This story draws from the timeless wisdom found across the great spiritual traditions of the world, from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him, from the stories of prophets and the patience of the righteous, and from the real, lived experiences of ordinary people who lost what they wanted and found what they needed. We will move through 8 chapters today. Each one carries a different layer of this truth, that divine wisdom operates at a depth our human vision cannot always reach. You will hear stories of doors that closed and what waited on the other side. You will learn the practice of surrendered effort, of working hard and releasing the outcome, of finding meaning in the waiting, of trusting a plan that is larger than your plan. And you will walk away with the trust formula, a complete daily framework for holding your life with both effort and faith, without letting fear of the future steal the peace of the present. And if you care about finding peace in uncertainty, strength in hardship, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are not alone in your story, subscribe to our channel right now, because we bring you the most honest, most spiritually deep English stories in the world. Now, let us begin.
Chapter 1. The Door That Would Not Open.
There is a story told about a man named Tarek. Tarek had spent 4 years working toward one goal, a position at a company he deeply admired. He had tailored his education toward it. He had taken side projects to build the right experience. He had prayed for it, consistently, sincerely, the way you pray for something when it feels like your entire future depends on the answer. The interview came. He prepared thoroughly. He felt it went well. Then the rejection email arrived. Short, polite, final. Tarek sat with it for a long time. He went through the stages most of us recognize: disbelief, then sadness, then something close to anger. Not at the company, at God. I prayed, I worked, I tried everything. What more was I supposed to do? 18 months later, Tarek had built something of his own. A small company, started almost by accident in the space the rejection had forced him into. By the 3rd year, it employed 12 people. One afternoon, he passed the building of the company that had rejected him. He stopped. He looked at it for a moment. And then, quietly, alone on the pavement, he said, "Thank you." This is not a story about working hard and succeeding. Those stories are everywhere. This is a story about what happens in the gap between the door that closed and the door that hadn't yet appeared. In that gap, most people give up. Some become bitter. A few, the ones who have learned to trust, keep walking. Not because they know where the next door is, but because they trust that there is one. And that trust, not certainty, not proof, but trust, is the first tool this story will give you.
Chapter 2. The Wisdom of Delays. In the Quran, there is a story that has given strength to believers for 14 centuries. The story of the prophet Yusuf, Joseph, peace be upon him. He was loved by his father above all his brothers. He had a dream that pointed toward a great destiny. And then, in one terrible day, his brothers threw him into a well. He was sold into slavery in a foreign land. He served faithfully and was falsely accused. He was imprisoned for years for something he did not do. And from inside that prison, he could not have seen what was coming. He could not have known that the very suffering that confined him was building the character, the wisdom, and the experience that would one day make him capable of leading a nation. He could not have known that the false accusation that imprisoned him would eventually bring him directly into the presence of the king. Every delay, every injustice, every closed door was part of a sequence that his human eyes could not read, but that divine wisdom had already written. The Arabic word is tawakkul. It is often translated as trust in God, but that translation misses something important. Tawakkul is not passive. It is not sitting still and hoping. It is doing everything you are capable of doing, every honest effort, every sincere action, and then releasing the outcome to the one whose vision is not limited by time. The prophet Yusuf did not stop working in prison. He interpreted dreams. He helped those around him. He continued to live with integrity in a place that had given him every reason to give up. Tawakkul is not the absence of effort. It is effort without attachment to a specific outcome. It is work